When my son sneered, "Go find a ditch to fade away in." "You're a burden now." I packed my bags like the devoted mother I'd always been. 5 days later, I sat in a lawyer's office, uncovering that my supposedly loyal husband had woven a web of deception for decades. My son Ethan was about to learn that even a pawn can checkmate a king. If you're watching, hit subscribe and tell me in the comments where you're tuning in from. Let me share how I went from a discarded mom to the woman holding every ace. Buckle up, this story twists like a coastal highway. 4 months ago, I was Evelyn Harper, dedicated wife of 40 years and mother to one spectacularly selfish son. When my husband James succumbed to a stroke at 70, my world shattered. Ethan swooped in during my grief like a hawk in a bespoke suit, cooing about how hard this must be. "Mom, you can't manage this estate alone," he said, his voice oozing crocodile tears. "The gardens, the upkeep, all those memories, it's too much." I should have seen the calculation behind his concern. Ethan had always been James's pride and joy, his flawless heir who could do no wrong. When he married that tech CEO, Lauren, and started popping out grandkids, James lavished them with attention. I was just the woman who planned dinners, maintained the grounds, and kept the family machine humming. After the funeral, Ethan grew relentless about my situation. He'd drag Lauren to Sunday brunches, where they'd ambush me with estate sale brochures and retirement home pamphlets. "Mom, these places are amazing people your age. Social clubs, no stress. Translation, no inheritance to share, no inconvenient mother to deal with." The final blow landed last Friday. I've been living in what Ethan now called our estate for 8 weeks since James's death. Sleeping in the den because packing up our bedroom felt unbearable. Ethan arrived unannounced with Lauren and 4 oversized suitcases. "Mom, we've made a call. Lauren's startup is relocating here and we need this estate now. It's ideal for us." I stared, dumbfounded. "Move in? This is my home." Ethan's mask slipped, revealing cold ambition. "Actually, Mom, per Dad's will, I inherited it all, house accounts, the works. I've let you stay out of kindness, but it's time to go." His words hit like a slap. "Ethan, there's got to be a mistake." No mistake. Dad knew I'd handle his legacy better. "You never got investments or property. You were just the wife. Just the wife." 40 years reduced to a footnote. Then came the gut punch. "Go find a ditch to fade away in. You're a burden now." I packed in a fog 40 years of life stuffed into 3 suitcases and a box of keepsakes. Ethan hovered by the door, checking his smartwatch, like I was holding up his schedule. "There's a senior home on Cedar Lane," he said with the enthusiasm of recommending a coffee shop. "Affordable. They'll have space. Affordable." My son was inheriting $30 million and he was nudging me toward a budget facility. Lauren loaded my bags into their Tesla with the efficiency of clearing clutter. "Evelyn, you'll love the independence," she said, eyes elsewhere. "No more worrying about property taxes or maintenance. No more home," she meant. As they drove me away, I watched my estate, James's estate, Ethan's no vanish in the rear view. The irony burned. I'd spent decades making that place a haven, hosting Ethan's milestones, nursing James through illness, tending every detail he valued. Now I was being dropped at a Betrayal motel like an overstayed guest. The Starlight Motel was a $45 a night dump. Paper-thin walls, threadbare sheets, and carpet older than my marriage. Ethan handed me $250 like tipping a porter. "This'll cover a few days while you settle," he said. "Lauren'll transfer some cash once we sort Dad's papers. Asterisk some cash from my own inheritance." After they left, I sat on the lumpy mattress, grappling with the fall from grieving widow to homeless senior. The son I'd raised, loved, and sacrificed for it had discarded me like a worn-out shoe. But in that dreary room, a spark of doubt flickered. James had been meticulous, borderline obsessive about his affairs. He'd shown me the will years ago, walking me through every clause to ensure I understood. I was certain it didn't say what Ethan claimed. James could be old school, sometimes dismissive of my homemaker role, but he wasn't heartless. The man who'd held me through my sister's death, who'd surprised me with weekend getaways, wouldn't leave me penniless the next morning. I used the motel's shaky Wi-Fi to track down James's attorney, Clara Wentworth, who'd handled our estate purchases and business contracts for decades. Her office was a 30-minute bus ride that dented my dwindling cash. But it felt critical. Clara Wentworth, a poised woman in her 60s with sharp green eyes, looked startled when her receptionist announced me. "Evelyn, I was wondering when you'd come by. I called the estate repeatedly, but Ethan said you were traveling." "Traveling?" "That's what my son told her." "Clara, I need to see James's will." She frowned. "Of course. Didn't Ethan give you your copy?" I provided him the original and several duplicates after the reading. My stomach dropped. There was a reading. "Evelyn, you were supposed to be there. Ethan said you were too distraught, that he'd handle everything and ensure you got your share." My blood ran cold as the truth sank in. "Clara, I was never told. Ethan said he inherited everything." Her face hardened and she reached for a file with urgency. "Evelyn, that's absurd. James's will is explicit about your inheritance." She pulled out a document. James's familiar signature at the bottom, notarized and witnessed. As she read, Ethan's lies unraveled. "I, James Michael Harper of sound mind, bequeath to my beloved wife, Evelyn Marie Harper, our primary residence at 421 Willow Grove Estates, including all furnishings and effects. Additionally, I leave her 80% of all financial assets, investments, and accounts, approximately $24 million. My head spun. Arshasim million. The estate, 4/5 of everything. Clara's voice grew solemn. "To my son, Ethan James Harper, I leave $6 million in trust, with distributions starting on his 40th birthday. Contingent upon his care and respect for his mother after my passing. Contingent upon his care for me." James had seen Ethan's true colors. "Clara," I whispered, "Ethan told me I got nothing. He's living in my house and gave me $250 for a motel." Clara's jaw tightened. "Evelyn, what Ethan's done is elder abuse and fraud, serious felonies. He showed you papers." "Yes, legal-looking ones. Forged, likely, or an outdated draft." James revised his will a year ago, worried about Ethan's entitlement and obsession with wealth. The room tilted. All those times Ethan brushed off my input, smirked at my suggestions during family talks about his tech ventures or Lauren's deals. James had noticed, planned for it. "There's more," Clara said. "The trust clause states that if Ethan disrespects or mistreats you, post-death, his $6 million reverts to you." I stared, stunned. "You're saying Ethan's actions cost him his inheritance?" "Exactly. You're not getting $24 million. Evelyn, you're getting $30 million, the estate, and all assets." The irony was delicious. Ethan's greed had triggered the very clause meant to shield me. "What now?" I asked, voice shaky. Clara smiled, warm for the first time since James's death. "Now we call the authorities about the fraud. Then we call Ethan and let him know his world's about to flip. Can he fight this?" "With what?" "Every account he thinks he controls is yours. They're frozen pending investigation." I pictured Ethan in my estate, likely planning to sell off land or redecorate with his millions. He and Lauren had no clue their empire was crumbling. Clara's office became ground zero for what she dubbed Operation Reclaim. She looped in the police, banks, and a private investigator while I sat, still digesting Ethan's betrayal. "The forged documents are clever," Detective Alvarez said, examining the fake will Ethan had waved at me. "This was planned, not impulsive. We'll check if Lauren or her tech contacts helped." Within hours, Ethan's accounts were locked. His credit cards tied to his new wealth were declined. The estate's utilities, which he'd switched to his name, were halted until ownership was verified. My phone lit up at 4:12 p.m. Nathan. "Mom, what's going on?" "The bank accounts are frozen." "Hello, Ethan. I'm at Clara Wentworth's office. You know, Dad's lawyer, the one who read the real will while you told her I was traveling. Silence. Then, Mom, I don't know what you think you found. I found you're a liar and a thief. And Dad was smarter than you thought. His voice sharpened. Mom, I was shielding you from managing all that money. You've never handled investments. No. Ethan, you forged documents, committed fraud, and kicked your 65-year-old mother out because you thought I was too naive to catch you. He switched tactics, voice softening. Mom, you're grieving, confused. Someone's manipulating you. The gall was staggering. Ethan, let's be clear. You lost your $6 million inheritance because of a clause about treating me with respect. It's mine now. Detective Alvarez is here if you want to discuss fraud charges. The line went dead. I looked at Clara, who nodded approvingly. How soon before he's arrested? Detective Alvarez has enough for a warrant. They'll grab him tonight. And Lauren? Her financial records are under review. If she helped forge those papers, she's facing charges too. My phone buzzed Ethan texting. Mom, don't do this. Think of the grandkids. I showed Detective Alvarez, who smirked. Textbook manipulation. I replied, I'm thinking of them. They deserve to know why their dad's in jail. That evening, police nabbed Ethan at a swanky steakhouse, mid-toast to his new chapter with Lauren and clients. Detective Alvarez said he ranted about wrongful arrest, demanding his lawyer a tech buddy with zero criminal law experience. Lauren was detained the next day at her startup's office. A forensic accountant traced the fake will to a digital firm her company used for investor packets. Apparently. My daughter-in-law had a side hustle in fraud Ethan either ignored or didn't know about. I spent my first night back in my estate in the master bedroom. Ethan had already moved in, cluttering it with tech gadgets and Lauren's designer bags. I boxed their stuff and left it by the gate. Let them pick it up post-bail. The house felt new not just because James was gone, but because I saw it as mine. For 40 years, I'd shaped it to James's tastes. Now, I'd make it mine. Clara called next day. Ethan's bail is $60,000. With his accounts frozen, he'll need a favor to cover it. Lauren? $250,000. The judge wasn't thrilled about her firm's shady history. I hadn't known Lauren's startup was under scrutiny for investor fraud. Ethan and Lauren always treated me like I couldn't grasp their high-flying world. They were about to learn how much I'd caught on. Clara, I want to renovate the estate. Ethan had architects lined up to modernize it. I'll keep some plans, but tweak them for me. Smart move, Evelyn. It's your space now. Make it yours. What made me happy was undoing Ethan's assumptions about my worth. He'd planned to pave the gardens for a pool and turn James's library into a home theater. I transformed the library into a reading nook and the pool plants into a greenhouse. My phone rang Channel 8 News. Mrs. Harper, I'm Lisa Nguyen. Your story about elder fraud is gaining traction. Care to share? The arrests of a tech CEO and her husband for defrauding his mother were buzzing. Lisa, I'm not ready for interviews. Your story could warn other seniors about family scams. She had a point. How many others were being pushed out by greedy kids? If I share, can I control the narrative? Absolutely. We'll do a sit-down and you approve the edit. I pictured Ethan in a cell, still thinking he could charm his way out. Lisa, I'll get back to you. I've got a tale to tell. I poured a glass of James's prized bourbon, sipped in my estate bought with my money, mulling whether to air Ethan's crimes on TV. Life had taken a wild turn. The next morning, Ethan stood on my porch, disheveled, bail somehow posted. Mom, we need to talk. I didn't invite him in. We talked. You told me to fade away in a ditch. His eyes were bloodshot, his usual swagger gone. I messed up, Mom, big time. But I'm your son. Are you? Sons don't forge wills to steal from their mothers. I wasn't stealing, I was protecting you from financial stress. Even now, he couldn't own it. Protecting me by tossing me out with $250. He faltered. Dad said you didn't understand money. I pulled my phone showing a video James recorded 6 months before his death. Actually, Ethan, Dad said you were too greedy, too entitled. He worried you'd hurt me to get the money. He made this in case you proved him right. Play it, Ethan muttered. James's voice filled the air, calm and cutting. "If you're watching, Ethan, my fears about you were true. I hoped my son had more heart. But if Evelyn's playing this, you've shown your worst self." Ethan sank to the steps as James detailed my sacrifices, part-time jobs to fund Ethan's college, shelved dreams to support the family. "Your mother gave up everything for us. If you've hurt her, you've lost everything." Ethan sobbed, not his usual polished tears, but raw, broken ones. "He hated me." "No, Ethan, he loved you enough to hope you'd do better. You didn't? What now? You face the fallout, fraud charges, public shame. Channel 8 wants my story." I'm leaning toward yes. His face collapsed. "Mom, the grandkids. Lauren's career, you didn't think of them when you committed felonies?" He stood defeated. "I never meant for this to spiral. I believe you wanted the money, Ethan. But wanting doesn't justify destroying family." He nodded, tears streaming. "What can I do?" "Admit you were wrong, not misguided, wrong. Then face the consequences with dignity, not manipulation." He looked at me. Maybe seeing the woman who outplayed him, not the pushover mom he knew. I deserved this. Yes, Ethan, you did. Days later, Lauren's father, Richard, appeared all polish and arrogance. "Evelyn, let's resolve this rationally. Prosecuting Lauren is petty." "No." I let him in, curious about his spin, petty. "Your daughter helped steal my $30 million and evicted me." Richard smirked. Lauren followed Ethan's lead. "She didn't grasp the full picture. She forged documents, Richard." "That's not following, that's conspiracy." His smile widened, sensing an angle. "Our family can compensate you $3 million to drop Lauren's charges." I laughed. $3 million for her stealing $30 million. Evelyn Lauren has a company, kids, a reputation. Prison helps no one. It helps justice. His charm faded. "Justice? You're tearing apart families over money you couldn't manage anyway." There it was, Vithon's condescension. Inherited from Lauren's side. "Richard, we're done. Reconsider $6 million. No." He stood smug. Lauren's lawyers found dirt on James's business. It'd be a shame if that went public. A threat. I called Clara, Evelyn. Their dirt doesn't erase Ethan and Lauren's crimes, but it could muddy James's reputation. "Clara, dig into James's business, every deal, every discrepancy." That night, I combed James's files in his My Study. His records were pristine, but oddities emerged. Payments to vague firms, inflated consulting fees, partnerships with ghost companies. By dawn, I called investigator Rachel Kim. She spent hours dissecting James's books. "Evelyn, James was laundering money through his real estate firm for a car to millions over 15 years. The air left me. Impossible. James was honest. The evidence is clear. He funneled dirty money through legit deals. My husband, the man I'd loved, had a secret life. The $6 million for Ethan, it's dirty too. Likely. If the feds find out, they'll seize everything." My phone rang. "Ethan. Mom, meet tonight. Dad's business changes everything." "I know about the laundering, Ethan." Silence. "Then you know Lauren's lawyers are talking to the FBI. We can settle you, keep the estate, and $6 million. The rest goes to the government. And you." My charges vanish. Genius, my son, turned my win into his leverage. "You're using Dad's crimes to dodge yours. Be practical, Mom, or you lose it all." I sat in James's study, surrounded by his lies. 40 years with a stranger, a son who'd inherited his deceit. But Ethan miscalculated. He underestimated me. I dialed Rachel. "Rachel, get me to the FBI. I've got a story they'll want." FBI agent Maria Cortez, all business, met me in Clara's office. "Mrs. Harper, coming forward risks admitting you benefited from illegal funds. I'd rather tell the truth than let Ethan and Lauren twist this." I spilled it all. James's laundering, Ethan's fraud, Lauren's forgeries, their blackmail attempt. Ethan thinks he can trade Dad's crimes for immunity. Maria nodded. "Would you wear a wire?" Hours later, I sat in my living room, a recorder hidden under my sweater. As Ethan and Lauren arrived for their deal, Ethan hugged me. Fake warmth. "Mom, you look great. Clarity does that." Lauren opened a laptop. "Evelyn, our lawyers crafted a solid deal estate. $6 million, immunity from James's mess. Immunity for you too." Lauren flinched. "We moved past this. Misunderstanding. Forging a will." Ethan jumped in. "Mom, that money's dirty. Take $6 million and walk away clean." "When did you learn about Dad's laundering?" Lauren hesitated. "Recently, while reviewing his records." "So, you found it while stealing my inheritance." "Convenient." Ethan paled. "Mom, what are you saying?" "I'm saying Agent Cortez finds your scheme plausible elder abuse. Fraud, extortion." Maria and 2 agents stormed in. "Ethan Harper and Lauren Grant, you're under arrest for conspiracy, elder abuse, and extortion." Ethan's laptop and phones were seized. Lauren glared. "Mom, you betrayed us." "Like you betrayed me. Sweetheart, accept my ways legal." As they were cuffed, Ethan tried. "Mom, Dad's cartel ties are dangerous." "You're not safe," Maria cut in, threatening a witness, Mr. Harper. "Just warning her." That's another charge. After they left, Maria dropped a bombshell. Evelyn James was an FBI informant for 10 years, feeding us cartel intel while laundering to maintain cover. The $30 million. Legit earned through his cooperation. I blinked. He was undercover. Yes, his work led to 38 arrests and $150 million seized. Ethan and Lauren didn't know. They thought it was just dirty money. The irony was exquisite. Ethan tried to blackmail me with truths that cleared James. What now? "You keep your money." Ethan and Lauren faced charges. "The cartel's too busy with raids to care about you." 6 months later, I sipped tea in my revamped estate, sunlight pouring through windows I'd picked. Ethan and Lauren were serving 20-month sentences. My story sparked a media frenzy, making me a voice for elder rights. The Evelyn Harper Fund, seeded with $12 million, supported seniors against family scams. A Netflix docuseries, The Matriarch's Triumph, was filming. Proceeds aiding elder advocacy. Ethan sent letters from prison 14 so far, pleading for forgiveness. I read a few, full of excuses, then stopped. Some bridges burned for good, my greenhouse. Once Ethan's pool plan bloomed with roses. The library, now my reading nook, held books I loved. I was painting again, a passion buried since marriage. My latest canvas, a woman in sunlight, fierce, free. Ethan's lawyer requested a meeting. I agreed not to forgive, but to set terms. He needs to know his actions broke us for good. His kids will learn why he's in jail. My grandkids' future with me depends on their choices. Okay. Not Ethan's remorse. As I walked my estate, I felt no guilt. Ethan and Lauren showed their true selves when they thought me weak. I became unstoppable instead. The best revenge. Becoming the woman they never imagined I could be. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, share your story below. Your voice counts.